السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله الذي جعل الشمس والقمر حسبانا والنجم والشجر يسجدان، فضل زمانا على زمان كما فضل إنسانا على إنسان ومكانا على مكان، والصلاة والسلام على نبينا وأعلانا وأولانا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد. Welcome to Quranic Arabic Academy, Arabic Grammar Made Easy. Every day we commit so many sins. Every day we commit unlimited number of sins, and then we forget about it. But what Allah is saying, that we need to repent. The sins we commit, first of all, we're not supposed to. Secondly, because we're humans, mistake happens. But Allah is telling us straight away, repent. So every morning or before going to bed, we think, we reflect that what did I do during the day? What sin has came or done from me? So we need to think of those sins and we need to repent to Allah. So every morning just say, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah. While you're saying this, I seek forgiveness from Allah. I seek forgiveness from Allah and think that any sins I've done yesterday, or if you repenting at night, any sins that I've committed during the day, I'm seeking Allah's forgiveness from all the sins. And we can add a few more things. Astaghfirullah Rabbi min kulli dhanbin wa atubu ilayhi wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-ali al-azim. We can add all those. Those of don't know how to add or don't know the rest of the thing, just say Astaghfirullah from bottom of your heart. You mean it. And you'll see you will become like a newborn baby. Sinless, no sin at all. So may Allah give us tawfiq. So again, welcome to Quranic Arabic Academy, Arabic Grammar Made Easy. Level 1, Section 1, Lesson 7C. So we are doing Level 1, and in Level 1 we'll have many sections. We are still under the first section, and lessons we have done so far up to lesson 7B. Today we're going to do lesson 7C. Before we start, let's make a dua to Allah. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tammim bil khair wa bika nasta'in. Rabbi yassir ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين ربي يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين. O my Lord. Rabbi means O my Lord. So next time we see this word in the Quran, we can translate easily, O my Lord. Yassir, make it easy. Wala tu'assir, and do not make it hard. The object here, the object is that the task is hidden, is mahdhuf. So we think of the task we are making the dua for. So now we are making a dua for our Quranic Arabic course, Arabic grammar course. This is our task. So we are asking Allah to make this journey of ours easy. And do not make it hard means if there are any difficulties, any obstacles in front of us that stops us from doing the Arabic grammar course, will make our path easy and remove all the obstacles and difficulties. وَتَمِّمْ بِالْخَيْرِ, and make our task completed with ease, without any difficulties. وَبِكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, and you are the one we seek help. رَضِيتُ بِاللَّهِ رَبًّا وَبِالْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا وَبِمُحَمَّدٍ رَسُولًا. رَضِيتُ بِاللَّهِ رَبًّا وَبِالْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا وَبِمُحَمَّدٍ رَسُولًا. So you can read this in many ways. I do read in different ways. We can continue reading a complete sentence in one go, or we can break them and have a comma. رَضِيتُ بِاللَّهِ رَبًّا وَبِالْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا وَبِمُحَمَّدٍ رَسُولًا. I have chosen. رَضِيتُ, I have chosen, or I'm happy, Allah to be the Lord. I'm happy Allah to be the Lord. I've accepted Allah to be the Lord. And I've accepted Islam to be the religion. And I've accepted Muhammad to be a messenger, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Right, let's recap very quickly what we have done in the past. So from now on, we'll be going through this recap, so it stays in our mind fresh. So later lessons will become easy for us. Kalima is 3 types. Number 1, ism. Number 2, fi'l. Number 3, harf. So this is Arabic grammar. You talk everything about ism. We talk everything about fi'l. And we talk everything about harf and how to join them and make a sentence. So this is called Arabic grammar. Now in Arabic grammar, as we've learned in the beginning, there are 2 parts in Arabic grammar. Number 1 is to do with ism. This is called an-nahu, the grammar. And the other part of Arabic grammar is talking about fi'l, and that is called sarf. Sarf, morphology, the different forms of the verb, different forms of the person doing action. So yeah, that is called sarf. And harf will come with ism and with fi'l. We are talking about ism. We've learned ism has 4 properties. Number 1 is al-i'rab. Number 2, an-naw'. Number 3, al-adad. And number 4 is at-ta'yin. Al-i'rab is the grammatical state of an ism in the sentence. An-naw' is the gender. Al-adad is the number. And at-ta'yin is the definiteness. I'rab, there are 3 types of i'rab, or 3 halat, or 3 state. And ism can be in or later on we're going to learn the slots of the sentence. So the slots in the sentence will fall in the three halats, and one of the slot either will have a mufradism, or it may have a phrase. Okay. So all this time we've been talking about the ism will be in one of the halat, but now we go a bit advanced. It is not the ism, it is the slot. Okay, the slot in the sentence, those will be in one of these three states or three halat. The slot. Okay, so a slot can have al-mufrad ism, one ism. A slot can have two isms. Okay, so from now on, remember the slots. So a slot can be in one of the three halat. Number one, halatul rafa. So the slot is in halatul rafa. It is called marfu'un. The slot, okay, not ism anymore. From now on, we'll be talking about the slot in the sentence. So what are the slots? Inshallah, we'll be learning when we start learning the sentences. So the slot can be in halatul rafa, and the slot is called marfu'un, and the symbol of the slot is dhamma or dhammatain. Number two, the slot can be in the state is halatul nasb, and the slot is called mansubun, and the sign of the slot, obvious, the ism will have the fathatain or fatha. Number three, a slot can be in halatul jar, or sometime an ism can be as well, and the slot or the ism is called majroor, and the symbol of majroor is kasratain. And now gender, we've learned there's two types of gender. One is mudhakkarun, masculine. The other one is muannasun, the feminine. Then we've learned al-adad, there are three types of adad. Number one, al-mufrad, and the i'rab of mufrad we've learned in marfu case will be dhamma, and mansub case will be fatha, and in jar or majroor case will be kasra. So this is it. Marfu'un, the sign is dhamma. Mansubun, of mufrad ism, the sign is the fatha, and al-mufrad in majroor will be kasratain or kasra. Al-muthanna, the i'rab of muthanna is with alif in marfu case, ma qabal fatha. In mansub case, ya ma qabal fatha. Ma qabal means before. Majroor case, ya ma qabal fatha. Then we've learned al-jamma. There's three types of jamma. One is jamma mudhakkar salim, then jamma muannath salim, and then al-jam'u al-mukassar. Let's talk about the i'rab of these three. The i'rab of jam'u al-mudhakkar salim will show with harf. So in marfu case, with waw ma qabal dhamma. In marfu case, waw ma qabal dhamma. In mansub case, ma qabal kasra. In majroor case, ya before it, kasra. And we need to add a noon with fatha. A noon with fatha. Sometime we see the ism, it has a ya ma qabal kasra, but the noon will have either dhamma or fatha or kasra. So these type of isms are not jamma mudhakkar salim. Those are the solid isms. So just be careful of that. Jamma mudhakkar salim, the noon of jamma always will be fatha, and noon of muthanna, the dual noon, is always kasra. If we have alif and noon at the end of an ism, and the noon having dhamma, that's not muthanna. Okay? If we have alif and noon having a fatha, that is not muthanna. That is the ism itself. Okay? And if a noon has a kasra, we need to think, what is the al-mufrad of this ism? If we can make a mufrad of it, that means it is muthanna. If we cannot make al-mufrad of it, that means it is a solid ism that's and with alif and nun. This alif and nun is not the muthanna alif and nun. This alif and nun is part of the ism. Next, Jammu al-Muannas Salim. The Arab is, we need to add alif and ta at the end to give us the at sound. So in marfu case with dhammatain, atun, and in mansub case with kasra, kasratain, or majroor, kasra or kasratain, atin, atin. The al-jamu al-mukassar, in marfu case dhammatain, mansub case fathatain, and majroor case kasratain. One of the important rule we have learned, al-jamu al-mukassar, is treated grammatically. Jamu al-mukassar is treated grammatically al-mufrad muannas. And this is the important rule we must remember. Al-jamu al-mukassar grammatically treated as al-mufrad muannas. So all the rules of mufrad muannas will apply to al-jamu al-mukassar. Although it will give us the plural meaning, when we translate, we will translate plural meaning. But in grammar, we will see it is acting like al-mufrad muannas. Then the Arab of ghair munsarif Arab, mufrad and al-jama is the same. In marfu case with one dhamma, because ghair munsarif does not accept tanween. In mansub case with one fatha, because ghair munsarif does not accept tanween. In majroor case also with fatha, because ghair munsarif ism does not accept tanween or kasra. So instead of kasra, in majroor case we'll have a fatha. Then we are learning at-ta'yin, the definiteness. We've learned the two types of definiteness. One is nakiratun, the common nouns, common isms. And number two is ma'arifatun, which is the specific thing we talk about. So nakira is indefinite, ma'arifa is definite. Ma'arifa, we've learned the 8 types of ma'arifa. Let's go through them very quickly. Number 1 is ismul alam, and number 2 al-mu'arraf bil-lam. In the previous lesson, we've learned these two in more detail. Ismul alam is the name of people, name of places, name of cities, countries, name given to anything. Okay, name given to anything, even a building. We give a name, that building becomes ismul alam. We give a name to a pet, the name of the pet becomes ismul alam. We give a name to a river, even that name of the river becomes ismul alam. Number 2, al-mu'arraf bil-lam. The nakira ism can be made into ma'rifa by adding alif and lam. So we add alif lam to make nakira ism into ma'rifa. And the rule of al is that when al is added to a nakira ism, tanween falls off, because al and tanween does not come together. And the al gives us the meaning of the, which is the definite article of Arabic, the. So next time we see al, we'll translate the, and we will not see tanween. So this al has more things to know, more details we will be learning in some of later lessons. But now remember, this al also can give us the meaning of all. Okay, all. And then we've learned the ismul alam, the proper nouns. They're already marifa. They cannot be marifa twice. Means we cannot add alif lam to any ismul alam. Okay, any proper nouns you don't add, or we don't add alif lam, because they're by nature they're already marifa. So we don't need to put alif lam. Some proper nouns, some names especially, will have tanween at the end, but that does not make the ism nakira, because naturally it is ma'rifa, like Zaydun, Khalidun, Muhammadun. And we've learned some isms, they will have alif lam, but that alif lam is not this alif lam. That alif lam is the part of the ism. The example we gave, Al-Abbas ibn Abdul Muttalib, Sahabi radiyallahu anhu, Al-Abbas. Then Al-Hussein, Al-Hassan. So these names will have alif lam, but this is not the alif lam we're talking about. This alif lam is built in. This alif lam is part of the ism. Now rest of the ma'rifa. Number 3 is ismul ishara. Number 4, al-ismul mawsul. Number 5, al-damir. Number 6, al-mudaf ila al-ma'rifa. And number 7, al-munada. Okay. So today's lesson we'll be learning or talking about the third one, ismul ishara, and the fourth one, al-ismul mawsul. So today's lesson we are going to learn, in this lesson we are going to learn and understand the third type of definite ism, third type of ma'rifa isms, which is ismul ishara. Know the difference between near and far pointing nouns. Understand the fourth types of definite ism. The fourth type is al-ismul mawsul of the ma'rifa. So let's begin. Ismul ishara, pointing noun. Or sometimes we can call them demonstrative noun. Pointing, let's make it easy. Pointing nouns. The plural is asma'ul ishara. So singular ismul ishara, plural asma'ul ishara. In every language, there are some words used to point at something. In English, these words are used to point something. In English, we use this which is the near thing, and it is al-mufrad thing. If we're pointing something mufrad, singular, we use this. These, if we're pointing something that is plural. That is far. We use pointing word that, far, which is a singular. And those, again far, which is plural. The nouns that are used to point at someone or something specific. So now we know the ismul ishara are used to point at something specific. So you only can point at ma'rifa. You cannot point at nakira ism by using these isms. So in Arabic they are called asma'ul ishara, the pointing nouns, asma'ul ishara. So because we're pointing specific, therefore the asma'ul ishara are ma'rifa. The types of asma'ul ishara. So we have two types. Number one, pointing nouns for things are near. Pointing nouns, things are near. For example, هذا بيت. This is a house. So هذا, we are pointing to bait, which is the near. This type of pointing nouns are called أسماء الإشارة للقريب. أسماء الإشارة للقريب. Sometimes for short we say أسماء الإشارة قريب. Number two, pointing noun for things afar. For example, ذلك بيت. That is a house. ذلك is used for things afar. This type of pointing nouns are called أسماء الإشارة للبعيد. Far. For short we say أسماء الإشارة بعيد. So these are the two types of أسماء الإشارة we're going to learn. So let's start the first one. أسماء الإشارة للقريب. Near pointing nouns. So we have these three types of noun. One, to point at a mufrad thing. Number two, to point at the dual muthanna things. And number three, to point something which is al-jamma, plural things. And we have, in terms of gender, we have two types, mudhakkarun and muannathun. Because the thing we're pointing at either is going to be mudhakkar or is going to be muannas. If it's mudhakkar and mufrad, mudhakkarun, mufrad, we use hadha, this. And if the thing is mufrad, and the pointing thing is muannath, then we use هذه. For al-muthanna, we know how to make muthanna. The default every ism is the rafa case or marfu case. The way we've learned to make marfu, or in rafa case, we make the same thing here. هذان is alif there. Alif is the muthanna alif, ma qabal fatha, and noon with the isra. هذان, these two, mudhakkar. And for muannas, slightly different. Alif and noon will be there. هاتان, هاتان. The dhal is dropped. Instead, the ta is added. هاتان. And al-jama, both mudhakkar and muannas, هؤلاء is. This is the table of asma'ul ishara lil qarib. And then memorize them is very easy. هذا, we start with mudhakkar first. هذا, هذان, هؤلاء. In your mind you have mufrad, al-muthanna, al-jama. مذكر هذا هذان هؤلاء. مذكر هذا مفرد هذا. المثنى هذان. الجمع هؤلاء. مؤنث مفرد هذه. المثنى هاتان. الجمع هؤلاء. مؤنث هذه هاتان هؤلاء. مؤنث هذه هاتان هؤلاء. In the Quran, the مذكر مفرد هذا is used a lot. مؤنث مفرد هذه used a lot. And al-jama هؤلاء used a lot. Only one or two places al-muthanna is used in the Quran. هذان هذان. And هاتان, I don't think so. It is not used anywhere in the Quran. هاتان. If you do come across, please let me know. So al-mufrad is used a lot and al-jama is used a lot. مذكر هذا هذان هؤلاء. مؤنث هذه هاتان هؤلاء. Next, let's look at the i'rab of asma al-ishara lil-qarib. We're going to look at the i'rab. All asma al-ishara lil-qarib are mabni except for muthanna. Okay, except for muthanna, dual. The three cases of asma al-ishara lil-qarib. So start with mufrad, mudhakkar. In marfu case, mufrad. In mansub case, or in majroor case. Because it's mabni, it will remain the same. Okay, هذا. مرفوع is هذا. منصوب again هذا. مجرور as well هذا. We have to mention the slot. If the slot is marfu, we have to mention marfu. هذا is in marfu case. And if the slot is mansub and هذا happens to be there, we say this هذا is mansub. And if the slot is majroor and this hada has happened to be in the majroor state, we say majroor. Muannas is the same again, is mabni. هذه, all three cases. Let's look at the jama. Al-jama also mabni. In all three cases, in marfu case, هؤلاء. Mansub, again هؤلاء. In majroor again هؤلاء. By looking at the kasra, don't say it is majroor. It's not majroor. This is how the word is. If this هؤلاء comes in marfu slot, we say it is marfu. If هؤلاء comes in mansub slot, we say it is mansub. And if the هؤلاء is in majroor slot, we say majroor. Now look at the muthanna now. Muthanna is mu'rab. It changes, yeah? Or munsarif, declinable. It changes. Marfu is هذا. هذان for mudhakkar. Mansub al-majroor, what did we learn? Ya is the i'rab ma qabal fatha. And noon with the kasra. هذين. هذان مذكر مرفوع case هذان. And مذكر منصوب المجرور case هذين. And مؤنث المثنى مرفوع case will be ألف النون هاتان. And منصوب المجرور case هاتين. Here is the Arab ما قبل فتحة. And the noon will have a kasra to show it is al-muthanna. Now we know the Arab. Let's go through them. First we start with mudhakkar. mufrad, al-muthanna in all three cases with the jamma. ذكر المفرد هذا in all three cases هذا. ثنى مرفوع هذان منصوب مجرور هذين جمع هؤلاء. هذا هذان هذين هؤلاء. مؤنث هذه مفرد. مثنى مرفوع هاتان مثنى منصوب المجرور هاتين is the إعراب منصوب المجرور كسر ما قبل فتحة and the نون كسرة and جمع هؤلاء. So that's how we say مؤنث هذه هاتان هاتين هؤلاء. Okay, this is the table for the إعراب of أسماء الإشارة للقريب. Next, أسماء الإشارة للبعيد, far pointing nouns. Again, we have 3 for مذكر and 3 for مؤنث. Which 3? المفرد, المثنى, الجمع. So مذكر مفرد ذلك, مذكر المثنى ذانك, and الجمع أولئك. For مؤنث مفرد تلك, مؤنث المثنى تانك, and الجمع أولئك. مذكر ذلك that, ذانك those two, and أولئك those. مؤنث مفرد تلك that, تانك المثنى تانك those two, female or feminine, and الجمع أولئك those. Okay, so this is how we learn أسماء الإشارة للبعيد مذكر ذلك ذانك أولئك, ذلك ذانك أولئك. Obviously we have in our head ذلك مفرد ذانك المثنى أولئك جمع. For مؤنث تلك for المفرد and المثنى تانك الجمع أولئك. مؤنث تلك that, تانك those two, female, أولئك those. تلك تانك أولئك. So again, this is how we learn. We learn the مذكر form first. ذلك ذانك أولئك. Then مؤنث تلك تانك أولئك. Next, let's look at the إعراب of أسماء الإشارة للبعيد. All أسماء الإشارة للبعيد are مبني except for مثنى, dual. The 3 cases of أسماء الإشارة للبعيد. Okay, exactly the same as أسماء الإشارة للقريب, but obvious the words are different. So مذكر المفرد in all 3 cases is مبني. So in مرفوع will be ذلك. In منصوب slot again ذلك. In مجرور slot ذلك. مبني means does not change. المثنى مرفوع case will be ذانك. Okay, ذانك. So still we have the alif, okay, alif for مثنى ما قبل فتحة and نون كسرة. Okay, نون كسرة. The kaf is added at the end. So it is أسماء الإشارة للبعيد. ذانك and منصوب مجرور ذينك. يا is the إعراب ما قبل فتحة and the نون كسرة. ذينك. And جمع is مبني, so sorry, it should be أولئك. I forgot to change it. أولئك. Okay. So if you allow me, I'll change this now. So I have to go out of this slide, change my keyboard, and I change it. So this is the O, yeah, and the wow is silent. This wow is silent. Then I la, ula, then we write the hamza. Okay, ula, then kasra, and then kaf. Ulaika means those. Those. So let's go back to the slide. So مذكر we learn like this ذلك ذانك ذينك and أولئك. For muannas تلك that. So in all three حالات will be تلك. In مرفوع slot تلك, in mansub slot تلك, and in majrur slot still تلك because it is mabni. The al-muthanna in marfu case, which is anika, there is the alif for al-muthanna ma qabla fatha and the noon kasra, and the ka is added to show it is al-ba'id. And in mansuba majrur inika, the ya is the arab ma qabla fatha, noon with the kasra, those two feminine. And al-jama ulaika is used for both mudhakkar and muannas. Again, ulaika in all three halat, in marfu slot, still ulaika, mansub slot, still ulaika, and in majrur slot, still ulaika. So this is how we learn asma al-ishara lil-ba'id in all three halats, in all three numbers, al-mufrad, al-muthanna, al-jama'. So mudhakkar, dhalika, dhanika, dhaynika, ulaika. Or you may, after saying mufrad, pause, dhalika. For muthanna, both we say together, dhanika, dhaynika. So mudhakkar, dhalika, pause, dhanika, dhaynika, pause, ulaika. Muannas, tilka, pause, and we say muthanna together, marfu case and the mansuba majrur case. Tanika, tainika. Back of our head, we know tanika is marfu and tainika mansub majrur. And jama we say ulaika. So tilka, tanika, tainika, ulaika. Understood so far? The asma al-ishara lil-qarib and asma al-ishara lil-ba'id. The muthanna, right? If you don't understand muthanna, not to worry. Muthanna is not used a lot, but the mufrad and al-jama, we must learn them for both asma al-ishara lil-qarib and asma al-ishara lil-ba'id. Understand? All right, sometime I need to refresh. Right, so this is the third type of ma'arifa we see, which is ismul ishara. We have two types of ismul ishara. Number one, al-ism asma al-isharati lil-qarib, the pointing, near pointing nouns. and those are 6 in total, 3 for مذكر and 3 for مؤنث. هذا هذان هؤلاء. For مؤنث هذه هاتان هؤلاء. For أسماء الإشارة للبعيد ذلك ذانك أولئك. For مؤنث تلك تانك أولئك. And we went through the Arab of each. Next, the fourth of the types of ma'rifah is al-ismul mawsul. So let's go through what are the four types. The 4 types of ma'rifah we've learned so far. Ismul alam, number 1. Ismul alam, number 2. Al-mu'arraf bil-lam, number 3. Ismul ishara, and number 4. Al-ismul mawsul. Number 4. Al-ismul mawsul. Again quickly. Number 1. Ismul alam. Number 2. Al-mu'arraf bil-lam. Number 3. Ismul ishara. And number 4. Al-ismul mawsul. The plural is al-asma'ul mawsulah. Al-asma'ul mawsulatu. This is the plural. And al-ismul mawsul means the relative pronoun. Is another term we use, relative pronoun. So what are the relative pronoun, or what are the ismul mawsul? We use relative pronouns mainly for 2 things. Number 1, after a noun to make it clear which person or thing we are talking about. Yeah? So ismul mawsul it's not clear. When we use ismul mawsul, it's not clear. Then we use ismul mawsul and the nouns or the sentence after ismul mawsul, okay, to make it clear. For example, the person who phoned me last night, it is my teacher. The person who phoned me last night. So I want to make it more clear. Who was the person? It is my teacher. So in this case, we'll be using the relative pronoun in Arabic, al-ismul mawsul. Another way we use asmul mawsul or ismul mawsul to tell us more about a person or thing. For example, Allah is the one who has created the heavens and the earth. The more about person or the thing. In English, the relative pronouns are that, what, which, whom, who, whoever, whomever, and whichever. Sometimes these words we use for a question as well. Sometimes we use these for pointing as well, isn't it? So for example, that we use for pointing. It is also used for relative pronoun. What is the question? But we use for relative pronoun as well. The same thing in Arabic we will learn many of the harf or huruf, the particles, will be using for different things. And it will give us different meaning. So in English, these are the relative pronouns. But we need to learn what are the relative pronoun or al-ismul mawsul or al-asma'ul mawsula in Arabic. So when we see these al-asma'ul mawsula in the Quran, we know it is al-asma'ul mawsula, and we translate according to that. So asma'ul mawsula is similar to ismul ishara. Yeah, it has 6 forms, 3 for مذكر and 3 for مؤنث. So this is the table. Al-Asma al-Mawsula, the relative pronouns. So we have 3 for مذكر. Why 3? Because al-Mufrad, al-Muthanna, and al-Jama'. Again, we have mu'annas, 3 for mufrad. Use it for a singular person or singular thing. Muthanna, use it for dual. And al-Jama', use for plural. So, mudhakkar al-mufrad, alladhi, he who, or the one who. Muthanna, ladhani, ladhani, those two who. Al-Jama', ladhina, those who, plural. The muannas, allati, she who. Muthanna, allatani, those two who, feminine. And al-Jama', allai, allati. We have two forms. Allai and allati. So it's like al-ismul ishara. The Quran, the mufrad form are used and the Jama' forms are used. The Muthanna, maybe just in one or twice places are used. We need to memorize learn the Mufrad and Al-Muthanna. I'm not saying we don't learn Muthanna, we do learn Muthanna. More should be familiar with the Mufrad ones, Mudhakkar and Muannas, and the Jama' one. So this is how you learn Al-Asma al-Mawsula, Dhakkar, Alladhi, Alladhani, Alladhina. Alladhi, one who or he who. Alladhani, those two who. Alladhina, those who. Muannas, allati, she who. One feminine who. Allatani, two feminine who, or those two feminine who. Okay. Because it's pronoun, so in English we use pronouns. Okay, pronouns. Jama, alladhina, for muannas, allai, allati. This is how you learn mudhakkar first. Alladhi, alladhani, alladhina. Alladhi, alladhani, alladhina. Alladhi, alladhani, alladhina. For muannas, allati, allatani, allai, allati. Or to make it easy, the rhythm, we can bring the allati first. Allati, allatani, allati, and allai. It's all tahiyya, tahiyya, tahiyya. It's easy. Allati, allatani, allati. We can say allai. So in the notes, I'll change this. This is it. This is how you learn al-asma al-mawsula. Now let's look at the i'rab of al-asma al-mawsula. All al-asma al-mawsula are mabni except for al-muthanna, dual, same as al-asma al-ishara or asma al-ishara. They are mabni. So al-asma al-mawsula are mabni. So al-mufrad in all three cases will be mabni. So alladhi in marfu slot, in mansub slot still alladhi, and majroor slot still alladhi. The al-muthanna mudhakkar in marfu case alladhani, alif ma qabal fatha and noon with the kasra. Mansub majroor alladhaini, the ya is the i'rab ma qabal fatha and noon with the kasra. And al-jamma is mabni, so alladhina. In all three cases, marfu alladhina, mansub alladhina, majroor alladhina. Muannas al-mufrad, in all three cases, allati, because it's mabni. مثنى مرفوع مؤنث اللتان ألف ما قبل فتح نون كسرة المنصوب مجرور اللتين the ya is the Arab ما قبل فتحة with نون كسرة and الجمع اللاتي اللائي this is also مبني اللاتي مرفوع same منصوب same مجرور same اللائي مرفوع same mansub and majrur all will be same. Learn these al-asma'ul mawsula. Alhamdulillah, with the tawfiq of Allah, we have completed lesson number 7c. We ask Allah to accept our effort. We ask Allah to give barakah and blessings in our life, in our time. To Allah to give barakah, especially in our time, so we can do a lot in little time. This is what barakah means. We can do a lot in little time. So inshallah we'll see you in the next lesson. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Okay, before we go, any questions? See, I don't want to make the lessons long. Today's lesson is already long. So if you do have any questions, you can post your questions in our Telegram group. Those who are watching in YouTube, please join our website, Quranic Arabic Academy. Over there, you will be able to do a lot more. There will be quizzes and many other resources. And also, end of the course, inshallah, provided that you get a good mark, then you also will receive a certificate. And also, those of you who are watching in YouTube, you can join our Telegram group. So go to our website, Quranic Arabic Academy. There will be a link how to join the Telegram group. So inshallah, we'll see you in the next lesson. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.